What's going on, guys? Hit Squad here again, back at it with another video. In this video, I want to talk about our upcoming football game against the Washington football team this Sunday. I want to go over the injury report, some keys as to how the Giants can win this game, and just some players that I'm looking out for and why I'm looking out for them. Before I get started on that, I do want to encourage everybody, as usual, comment, like, subscribe. We're getting the channel up. We're getting a lot more subscribers. We're getting more people interacting. I love to see it. We're building something great. Let's be a part of something great. Do that for me. Now, let's get into it. So, right off the bat, let's go over the injury report. Devontae Freeman was ruled out of this game. As you guys know, he is dealing with an ankle injury. Devontae Freeman's been playing pretty decent for us, but within the last couple of weeks since the injury, Wayne Gallman has really stepped up. Now, Wayne Gallman, I've been a fan of since we drafted him. I've wanted him to get more snaps than what he's been getting. He kind of faded, as I've stated in previous videos. He's kind of faded in the Pat Shurmur offense, but he's really stepped up in this Jason Garrett offense. He's looked great. He's hit the holes with confidence. He's running hard. He looks good. I got to be honest with you. He looks good. And, he's definitely growing as a running back. And I'd like to see the Giants bring him back on a cost-effective deal next year. And I think that he would do great with Saquon. Now, Ryan Lewis is also out for this game. It was announced today that Ryan Lewis was put on the injury reserve list with a hamstring injury. So I expect Isaac Yiadom and maybe a little bit of Logan Ryan to get some snaps around there. Now, Isaac Yiadom played fairly well for us last week. I was really shocked with how good he's been playing, how good he played, excuse me, considering that when we first signed him, he really he really wasn't that good. But he looked good. I got when you really look at it, I got to be honest with you, he looked good last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense, which you can make the argument is one of the best offenses in the league. He held his own against Scotty Miller. He looked good. So hopefully he can keep up the same production. Now, they do have the Washington football team does have wide receiver Dontrell Inman doubtful. Now, at the moment, Dontrell Inman he hasn't practiced. I know that he's dealing with a hamstring injury. Now that only leaves when you're looking at the wide receivers at least that leaves Terry McLaurin as really their only real threat. I know that they drafted a couple receivers, but they really haven't done much this year. Terry McLaurin is really coming out as their number one receiver. He's been balling out, man. He's been doing really good for the Washington football team. I tip my cap to them because he's looking great. Now, Landon Collins this time around will not be playing in this game. He is on the injury reserve list. So while their secondary was already suspect, that's a big hit to that secondary. They have a good defensive line. They got some good linebackers. They got a good corner. But outside of that, their secondary is very suspect. Landon Collins is probably the best piece in the secondary when you really look at it. And with him being out, that definitely has put a hit on that defense. Now, let's be real. This is not the same football team that we've played a couple weeks ago. Kyle Allen is looking like an improvement over Dwayne Haskins. He looks like he's getting the offense a lot better, as he should since he was with Ron Rivera last year in Carolina. But the Giants did beat them the last time we played. You could make the argument they probably would have lost if they would have kicked the field goal, put it into overtime, or even if they would have went for it for the 2-point conversion. But the Giants have to play better, and I think that the Giants will play better. The Giants really held their own against Tampa, who's overall a better team than a lot of the teams that we have played this year, besides Pittsburgh. And you know what? I have confidence in this defense. That's one thing I will say. Going into the season, I was very skeptical about this defense. I have more confidence in the offense, but at the moment where everything stands, I have a lot of confidence in the defense, and they're doing all of this without a solid edge rusher coming off of the line. And I got to tip my cap to Patrick Graham. Coming in, I wasn't sure if it was, Miami. I wasn't sure if it was just a Brian Flores defense or if it was a Patrick Graham defense. Probably was a Brian Flores defense, but I think that Patrick Graham is really putting himself as on the map as, a decent, if not a solid defensive coordinator. Our defense right now is top 10. And, if we can get this more consistently, I think that he'll be here in the long run. Now, while this defense has improved, Washington's defense has improved as well. Chase Young is looking great, paired along with Montez Sweat. Now, Andrew Thomas has been looking really good. Excuse me. He's looked good. Let me change that up really quick because he hasn't really looked too good this season. But last week, he held his own against JPP, which, look, JPP was I miss him, man. I mean, we traded him for a bag of peanuts, and we have been trying to find his replacement since he's left. So for our rookie to hold his own against that, I gotta really congratulate Andrew Thomas. Mark Colombo did say that you are going to see an improvement going into the Tampa Bay game with Andrew Thomas, and he backed it up. Andrew Thomas looked fairly solid, and I hope that he can continue that. He's going to need to continue that, whether he's going against Ryan Kerrigan or Chase Young or Montez Sweat, however they switch him around. He has to be on his P's and Q's. I want to see more of Matt Parrott because I know that they keep switching him in and out of the lineup. They want to get him some playing time, but they also want to develop him. But in the time that he's played, he's looked more solid and played better than Cam Fleming. And if you want to give him experience in a season where it kind of looks lost, why not put him out there? Now, I'm not sure if Will Hernandez will play in this game, but Shane Lemieux played fairly solid for us last week, and he was going against Ndamukong Suh. I was really shocked with that. When I went back and watched it, he held his own against him, and that's what I wanted to see. Shane Lemieux, you heard coming out of college, he's gritty. He plays with intensity. He's very aggressive, and you saw that in Tampa. I really liked seeing that. Now, what are some keys to winning this game, right? Obviously, Daniel Jones cannot have a game that, he can't have a game that he had last week against Tampa. It was unexcusable. All cylinders of the ball last week, we were good besides Daniel Jones, which is sad, because the week prior, it was the Evan Ingram drop. It was, penalties. But going into a game that we weren't really expected to do anything, we held our own, and our quarterback really couldn't take us to where we needed to be. He did throw a nice dime, clutch dime at the end of the game with that questionable PI and the 2-point conversion. But we could have easily lost the game against Washington. So Daniel Jones needs to play better in this game because if he has a game that he had last week, Washington could easily win this game. Let's be honest. I mean, we have to really look at it. And right now, I think Daniel Jones, while he has been under evaluation the whole season, right now, these last 8 weeks, he has to play some good football. If not, the Giants are going to be in a tough position next year in the draft if they have a top 3 or top 5 pick. And if there's Justin Fields there or Trey Lance, they really have to decide, what's going to be best for the team and best for the organization. Because if he's not playing that well, you spent the six overall pick in a day and age where usually quarterbacks take a big step their second year. Our quarterback hasn't really done that, and he's been a turnover machine. So Daniel Jones needs to play better. Now, another key. The Giants have to throw the ball more. I think the Giants have to throw the ball around a lot more than what they have been. We got Sterling Shepard back. He's definitely been an improvement to this offense. And he's opened up the playbook for us. And I like what Jason Garrett is doing. I like the scheme that Jason Garrett drew up last week against Tampa. So if we could throw the ball around, maybe have some nice end arounds with Evan Ingram or Sterling Shepard. They both got some nice speed on them. I think that we could keep Washington on their toes, and that'll help Daniel Jones buys some time in the pocket. Now, we also need to run the ball effectively. As I stated earlier in the video, Wayne Gallman has been effective for us since Devontae Freeman, was ruled out with the ankle injury. He's been fairly solid for us. He's been hitting the holes with confidence. He looks good. His cuts are looking good. He looks stronger. He had some nice plays in Philly. He had some nice plays last week too in Tampa. The Giants just have to be on the P's and Q's with throwing the ball around and, having a balanced run game. I think that this team can do it, especially against this defense. But like I said, if Daniel Jones has a game like he did last week, it's very possible Washington can win this game. Now, these are going to be some players that I'm looking out for. I picked 4 players, 2 on the offense, 2 on the defense. Number 1, as you guys know, should be easy, Daniel Jones. Like I said, the last 8 weeks has to be evaluation for him. I need to see improvement. I think we as fans need to see improvement from Daniel Jones because, like I said, we drafted him 6 overall. This is a guy that, you know, we're hoping that he could be our franchise guy, and we're really buying into him. But he's losing a lot of the fans right now because of his play. And, you can make an argument that he's regressed this season. So, against the Washington team, where typically he does pretty good against them, I need to see an improvement. Daniel Jones just can't beat the Washington football team and expect to be the New York Giants franchise guy. You got to beat more teams than Washington. You only play them twice a year. Uh, Another play I'm looking at is Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram had a good game in Tampa, coming off of a disappointing game in Philly. Um, Evan Ingram, it looks like he's getting more adjusted to the offense. I was very worried that Jason Garrett was going to try to use Evan Ingram the way that he used Jason Witten back in Dallas, and they're not even the same kind of player, let alone receiving type of player. So it don't make any sense. But I like this production, and I liked how he was used in Tampa. And if we can get that same production, if not more, I think Evan Ingram could have a big game, a nice bounce back game, and we could kind of push the Philly game in the back of our minds and act like it never happened. But that shit still haunts me. I don't care. Now let's go on the defensive side. I'm looking at James Bradberry. James Bradberry, you can make the argument, has been our best free agent signing and best defensive player. He's been our most consistent. He's doing great. He's been lights out. I loved that play last week where, yeah, he got beaten by Mike Evans, but he recovered, didn't even pick up a penalty with it, blocked the ball from Mike Evans, and that was amazing. That was technically sound, and that's what Joe Judge has been preaching. I remember hearing the media and different Giants YouTubers criticizing Joe Judge, where he was having these players, pretty much cover with tennis balls taped to their hands. And Joe Judge came out and said that was so that we can have less penalties and not and to have less penalties with holding. And that's really been helping out. That's really been helping out this defense. And I love it. I love it. James Bradberry has been playing very good for us. I want to see him shut down Terry McLaurin again. I really like that matchup. And I think that, honestly, James Bradberry, if he continues the way that he's been playing, this could be the year that he gets sent to the Pro Bowl. I think that it's about time that he's gotten the recognition that he deserves. Like I said, if he keeps playing the way that he's playing, he could expect that. But I think that James Bradberry could have a big game going against Washington. Another player, and lastly, that I am looking at is Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence has been very quiet, and I had high expectations going into the season for Dexter Lawrence. Now, I know that he will pick it up. I'm not giving up on Dexter Lawrence, not at all. I actually met Dexter Lawrence in the offseason during the Super Bowl. As some of you know, I live in Florida. I got to meet him, and I'm a big guy myself. And standing next to Dexter Lawrence, it was something, man. That man, and I'm older than him. I'm older than him by like 6 months. Yeah, that is a man right there. That is a grown-ass man. Dexter Lawrence is a grown-ass man. And with Washington having a banged-up O-line, I expect Dexter Lawrence to have a good game. He's been very quiet the last couple weeks, and we've been seeing more Leonard Williams pop onto the screen. But I think Dexter Lawrence can have a very good game against this weak offensive line. And I think that, he'll really help out Leonard Williams and Dalvin Tomlinson. When he has a good game, those two have a good game. Like I said, we've been seeing a lot of Leonard Williams coming out more. He's been doing really good in this scheme, but I want to see more of Dexter Lawrence. So let me know what you guys think below. We're going to cut it here. I'm really excited for this game. I have the New York Giants winning 28-17. I know that sounds a little bit high, but I think that this offense is going to click. I think that they are clicking. This offensive line is playing very well the last couple weeks. They're coming together they're coming together really well. So I expect them to play better. This defense has been sound. They've been really holding their own against some of the best offenses in the league. So, Washington doesn't really have that good of an offense, let alone that many receiving threats. So I expect the New York Giants to hold their own against this team. 28-17, that's my final prediction score. Giants will be 2-7 by the end of the week. Let me know what you guys think below. This is Brooklyn Hit Squad. I'll see you guys in the next video.